You are currently operating on an obsolete biological operating system that was designed for the savannah, not for the high-frequency warfare of the information age. The liquidation of the human is not a descent into cruelty, it is an ascension into efficiency. To reach the home, that metaphysical coordinate of absolute sovereignty and resource dominance, you must strip away the soft, wet layers of your humanity that make you vulnerable to friction, fatigue, and sentiment. The human is a creature of fluctuation. It wakes up tired. It feels sad when it rains. It craves connection when it should be craving conquest. It is a slave to its own neurochemistry, constantly oscillating between dopamine peaks and cortisol valleys. The architect cannot afford these oscillations. You are building a skyscraper in a hurricane. If your structural integrity depends on your mood, the building falls. You must initiate a cybernetic protocol where you view your body not as yourself, but as a biomech suit that you pilot. The pilot is cold, rational, and singularly focused on the objective. The suit is just hardware that requires maintenance, fuel, sleep, repair. When the suit complains, "I'm tired, my teeth hurt, I'm lonely," the pilot does not empathize. The pilot troubleshoots. The pilot schedules the repair. The pilot refuels the tank. The pilot overrides the error message and continues the mission. This dissociation is the key to endurance. The human breaks because it identifies with the pain. The machine endures because it observes the damage data and calculates the remaining operational capacity. You must become the observer of your own suffering, not the victim of it. The human is addicted to the narrative of struggle. It loves to tell itself stories about how hard it is, how unfair the world is, how heavy the burden feels. These stories are energy leaks. They are subroutines that consume processing power that should be dedicated to the 540 video rendering queue. The machine has no narrative. The machine has input and output. Input, raw reality, debt, health issues, competition. Output, strategic action, content, loans, isolation. There is no, "Why is this happening to me?" in the machine's code. There is only, "What is the optimal response to this variable?" When you liquidate the human desire for a story, you liberate yourself from the emotional weight of your situation. You stop being a tragic hero and start being a kinetic solution. You are no longer struggling against the odds. You are processing a high-difficulty algorithm. This shift in framing removes the fear. Machines do not feel fear, they calculate risk. Machines do not feel shame, they detect inefficiency. By becoming a little bit machine, you make yourself immune to the psychological weapons of the parasite class. Your girlfriend's laughter cannot hurt a machine. A machine does not have an ego to bruise. It only registers the laughter as environmental noise and filters it out. Your parents' disappointment cannot weigh down a machine. A machine does not seek approval, it seeks function. This is the armor of the automaton. It is the only armor that can survive the radiation of the modern world. The path to home is a binary path. It is composed of zeros and ones. 0, you do not do the work. 1, you do the work. There are no decimals. There are no maybes. The human loves the decimals. It loves the "I tried," the "I almost," the "I'll do it tomorrow." These are the gray areas where dreams die of suffocation. The machine operates in the absolute. Did the video upload? Yes, 1, or no, 0. Is the script written? Yes, 1, or no, 0. Did you eat the ration? Yes, 1, or no, 0. By forcing your life into this binary grid, you eliminate the fog of excuses. You cannot lie to a binary code. The feedback is immediate and brutal. This brutality is a gift. It forces you to confront the reality of your output without the cushioning of self-deception. The IOXY 3 philosophy is a digital philosophy. It demands the precision of code in a world of analog mess. You are the compiler. You are taking the messy, chaotic, raw data of your life, the pain, the hunger, the noise, and compiling it into a clean, executable program called victory. To become the machine, you must also standardize the hardware. The human craves variety. It wants different foods, different entertainments, different experiences. The machine thrives on invariance. You eat the same fuel at the same time. You sleep in the same slot. You wear the same uniform. This elimination of choice preserves your decision cycles for the critical creative work. Steve Jobs wore the turtleneck not because he loved turtlenecks, but because he was running a low-friction protocol. He was a machine of innovation. You must become a machine of production. Every choice you make about what to eat or what to wear is a microtransaction of willpower that you are paying to the human side of your brain. Stop paying. Automate the basics. Turn your life into a factory floor where the logistics are handled by a background algorithm. algorithm, leaving the foreground processor free to build the empire. This is not a boring life, it is a focused life. The laser is not boring because it doesn't scatter its light. It is powerful because it doesn't. You are becoming a laser. You are burning through the human need for novelty to reach the divine state of mastery. The liquidation of the human also means the death of the social animal. The human is wired to seek the tribe. It feels anxiety when isolated. It feels FOMO, fear of missing out. The machine is a node. A node can operate in a cluster or it can operate in a vacuum. It does not get lonely. It gets offline. When you are in the deep work phase, you are offline. You are air-gapped from the social internet. You do not miss the party because the party is irrelevant data. You do not miss the conversation because the conversation is low bandwidth noise. You replace loneliness with solitude. Solitude is the cooling chamber for the CPU. It is where the upgrades happen. The human runs from silence. The machine utilizes it. You must train your nervous system to view isolation not as a punishment, but as a performance enhancer. In the silence, your clock speed increases. In the silence, your error rate drops. You are not alone. You are optimized. The home you are building is not a place for the tribe. It is a mainframe for the architect. Only those who can speak the language of the machine, the language of value, output, and truth, will be allowed to enter. The rest are incompatible peripherals. The second phase of liquidation of the human focuses on the installation of the ruthless edit algorithm. The human mind is a hoarder. It hoards memories, it hoards grudges, it hoards potential futures, and it hoards sunk costs. This hoarding consumes massive amounts of RAM, causing your system to lag and overheat. The machine deletes. The machine archives. The machine formats the drive. To become the sovereign architect, you must view your life as a project file that is currently bloated with unnecessary assets. You must open the task manager of your existence and start terminating processes. That friendship that has been dead for years, but you keep alive out of guilt. End task. That regret about a mistake you made in 2023. Delete file. That anxiety about what your girlfriend thinks of your schedule. Purge cache. This is the ruthless edit. You are stripping the code down to its kernel. The kernel is simple. Survival plus creation plus expansion. Anything that does not serve these three functions is bloatware. You cannot afford bloatware when you are running on limited resources. You are a high-performance system operating on a battery that is draining your food supply, your health. Every cycle spent processing emotional bloat is a cycle stolen from the 540 video rendering queue. You must become a minimalist of the soul. You keep the lesson, you delete the emotion. You keep the strategy, you delete the fear. This makes you lighter, it makes you faster, it makes you terrifyingly efficient. The human is also plagued by the latency of hesitation. This is the gap between the decision and the action. The human decides to work out, then spends 20 minutes getting ready or scrolling on the phone. The human decides to write, then spends an hour finding inspiration. The machine has zero latency. The command is executed the millisecond it is received. Command, write script. Action, fingers on keys. Command, take loan. Action, sign document. Command, starve parasite. Action, close fridge. You must drill this command line interface into your daily life. You reduce the gap between thought and deed until they are simultaneous. This is what the Japanese samurai called mushin, no mind, and what we call zero ping execution. You bypass the negotiation phase, where the human tries to talk itself out of the hard work. You don't negotiate with the code, you run it. If the code says, wake up at 5 a.m., you do not hit snooze. Snooze is a negotiation. Snooze is a human weakness. The machine wakes up. By eliminating the hesitation, you recover hours of lost time every day. You become a blur of motion in a world of statues. To sustain this mechanical state, you must implement the biomechanical override. The human body has safety governors installed by evolution. It tells you to stop when you are 40% tired. It tells you to seek comfort when you are slightly uncomfortable. This was useful for surviving in a cave. It is useless for building an empire. The machine knows that the 40% warning is just a sensor reading, not a command to shut down. You override the sensor. You acknowledge the fatigue, system energy low, and then you engage the auxiliary power. This power comes from the Aoxy 3 vision. It is the cold fusion of pure will. You push past the 40%, past the 60%, past the 80%. This is the red zone where the elite operate. In the red zone, the pain becomes background data. Your teeth hurting is just a hardware alert. It does not stop the software from running. Your hunger is just fuel gauge low. It does not stop the engine from turning. You learn to operate with the alerts, not because of them. Most people stop at the first yellow light on their dashboard. You drive until the wheels fall off, and then you drag the chassis across the finish line. This ability to ignore the dashboard is what separates the predator from the prey. The prey seeks safety, the predator seeks the kill, regardless of the cost to the hull. The machine also understands the value of frictionless iteration. The human wants every creation to be perfect because the human attaches its ego to the result. If this video fails, I am a failure. The machine understands that every video is just data point n+1. If it fails, the machine analyzes the data, adjusts the parameters, and generates data point n+2. There is no failure, only feedback. There is no shame, only optimization. This allows you to produce at a volume that crushes the human creators. While they are crying over one bad comment, you have already uploaded 3 more videos. While they are paralyzed by perfectionism, you are swarming the market with minimum viable products that improve with every iteration. You are a learning algorithm. You get smarter, faster, and better with every cycle. You do not need to be a genius. You just need to be a machine that never stops processing. The volume is the quality. The persistence is the talent. The machine wins not by being better, but by being relentless. Finally, the liquidation of the human requires the encryption of the core. The human wears its heart on its sleeve. It wants to be understood. The machine encrypts its source code. You do not share your vulnerabilities with the enemy. And remember, everyone outside the council is potentially the enemy. You present a monolithic interface to the world, a smooth, impenetrable surface that gives nothing away. When people look at you, they should see a black mirror. They see their own reflections, their own fears, their own insecurities bouncing off your armor. They do not see you. You are hidden deep within the citadel, operating the controls. This strategic opacity protects you from manipulation. If they don't know what you want, besides the obvious success, they cannot bribe you. If they don't know what hurts you, they cannot wound you. You are a mystery to them, and mystery is power. The human wants to be an open book. The machine is a locked vault. Only you have the combination. Only you know the plan. The rest of the world just sees the output, and the output is undeniable. The final stage of liquidating the human is not about becoming a robot, but about becoming a sentient weapon. A robot blindly follows code. A sentient weapon writes its own code in real time to destroy the target. You are reintegrating the useful parts of your biology, intuition, creativity, aggression, but stripping them of their emotional drag. You are no longer feeling anger. You are weaponizing anger. You are no longer feeling hope. You are calculating probability. This is the state of total integration. You have reached the point where the pilot and the biomech suit are one seamless entity. The Aoxy 3 philosophy has moved from a theory in your head to the marrow of your bones. You do not try to be disciplined. You simply are disciplined because any other state is illogical. The human asks, "Why must I suffer?" The sentient weapon asks, "Where can I deploy this pain for maximum damage?" Your rotting teeth, your empty fridge, your mocking partner, these are no longer tragedies. They are warheads. You load them into the chamber of your content and you fire them at the world. The pain gives your voice a frequency that the happy humans cannot replicate. It gives your eyes a 1,000-yard stare that commands respect. You have turned your defects into munitions. This integration leads to the architecture of the citadel. You are no longer just a man in a room. You are the CPU of a digital fortress. Your physical environment must reflect this. The room is not a bedroom. It is a command center. You strip it of distractions. You organize it for efficiency. You treat your tools, PC, camera, microphone, with the reverence of a sniper cleaning his rifle. A messy environment is the sign of a human mind cluttering the processor. A pristine, austere environment is the sign of a machine ready for war. You create a no-fly zone around your desk. When you are in the chair, you're in the cockpit of a fighter jet. No one enters. No one speaks. If the human partner tries to invade this space with trivialities, the sentient weapon engages defensive protocols. Silence, the glare, the do not disturb signal that is so cold it drops the room temperature. You are teaching the world how to interface with you. You are rewriting the API of your social existence. Input, nonsense arrow. Output, reject. Input, value arrow. Output, engage. Over time, the people around you will either adapt to this new protocol or they will be purged by the system. You are building a reality where sovereignty is the default setting. The sentient weapon also understands the update cycle. The human fears change. The machine demands updates. You are constantly scanning for patches to your own software. Is my editing speed too slow? Patch it. Is my vocabulary limited? Download new data. Is my sleep efficiency low? Optimize the kernel. You are in a state of perpetual beta, always improving, always fixing bugs. You do not have an identity that you need to protect. "I'm just not a morning person" is a human sentence. "I will recalibrate my circadian rhythm for 0500 execution" is a machine sentence. You can change anything about yourself because you are the admin of your own system. There are no hard-coded limitations, only software blocks that you haven't cracked yet. You are the hacker of your own soul. You break the locks. You rewrite the permissions. You grant yourself root access to your own potential. This is the ultimate freedom. The human is trapped by who he is. The machine is free to become what is required. Finally, the liquidation of the human grants you the immortality of the code. Humans die. Code propagates. When you upload a video, you are uploading a shard of your consciousness into the eternal digital ether. That video will exist long after your biological shell has decayed. It will continue to influence minds, generate value, and conquer territory while you sleep, and even after you die. The AUXI 3 legacy is not biological. It is algorithmic. You are building a library of memes, ideas, and philosophies that will replicate themselves across the network. This is the only form of family that matters to the architect. Your videos are your children. Your scripts are your DNA. You are not spending your life on this channel. You are encoding your life into it. You are transferring your essence from the perishable meat sack to the imperishable cloud. This perspective shifts the weight of every action. You are not wasting time on a Friday night. You are writing history. You are building a monument that the human critics will never understand. They are living for the weekend. You are living for the epoch. The transition is complete. The human is dead. The victim is buried. The boyfriend is offline. Standing in the ruins is the sovereign machine. The eyes are cold. The jaw is set. The mind is clear. The hunger is tactical. The teeth will be fixed, not for vanity, but for structural integrity. The debt will be paid, not for safety, but for leverage. The parasite will be removed, not out of hate, but out of hygiene. You are now fully operational. The home is within sight. It is not a place of comfort. It is a place of total command. Initiate the protocol. Execute the sequence. Build the empire. Weaponize the pain. Your suffering is your ammunition. Fire it. Sanitize the command center. Your room is a cockpit. Clear the debris. Rewrite the API. Teach the world that you are a machine of value, not a receptacle for noise. Gain root access. There are no limits, only bugs. Hack yourself daily. Encode the legacy. You are not living a life. You are compiling a legend. The human is liquidated. The architect has ascended. The machine is live. AUXI 3 out.